Hello and welcome to LFC Focus. Liverpool just battered Everton by 3-1 at Anfield, and there were brilliant performances all round in that team, especially from a lot of players who had doubters to prove in this game. Lucas, I was talking about him before the game. He was finally back in the midfield where we know he plays best, so I was hoping that he would prove his doubters wrong. He kind of did in that game. There were a couple of moments where he was coming out of position a bit too much. I think he left the back four exposed at times, but you can forgive him for being excited when it's a derby match and he's finally back in defensive midfield where, in my opinion, he belongs. Dejan Lovren was fantastic as well. He kept Romelu Lukaku in his back pocket all game, which was fantastic to see. Lukaku, he's a good player, but he just doesn't seem to show up against Liverpool, and long may that continue, provided that he does stay as an Everton player beyond the transfer window. Felipe Coutinho in particular was just class. That goal from him was just outrageous. It was the kind of goal that we've been waiting for from Coutinho for a very long time now, and to see him bring that form that he's been showing for Brazil back to Liverpool is a big sign of, what we hope are things to come for the rest of this season, because we need Coutinho to be stepping up in the next few games. There are 9 games left. They're all against the so-called smaller teams when arguably he doesn't quite turn up as much, but earlier on in the season when he was a bit more consistent, he was turning up for those games. So hopefully with those games coming up, he can carry on putting in these world-class performances and winning games for Liverpool. Looking at the other goals, fantastic run from Sadio Mane. Joel Robles probably could have done a bit better for most of those goals. He actually moved out the way, I think, for the Origi one. I looked at it and I thought that maybe if he hadn't actually moved, he probably would have stopped it. But, we don't care. Liverpool won 3-1 in the Merseyside derby. We're not fussed. The goal that they scored, it's the same problem again and again. And while it is disappointing on a day like this, I'm not going to dwell on it too much. Hopefully we can sort it out in the summer, because teams do just seem to be clocking on to the fact that as long as you get some sort of touch on the ball in the box from a set piece and, create a bit of havoc, you're going to score against Liverpool. And lo and behold, I think it's Phil Jagielka gets a little bit of a touch and Everton score from it. But like I said, we won 3-1. I'm not fussed at all. Mane injury was also quite disappointing, really. It looks like it probably will be the end of the season, which is crushing for Liverpool, because obviously with all those games coming up against the so-called smaller teams, Mane is our most important player in those games because he always shows up in them. He provides that width that we need against teams who provide a low block. So hopefully it isn't as serious as it looks. And if not, then players like Woodburn and Origi will come through, step up and make the difference for Liverpool. Little word on the refereeing as well. Just pathetic from Anthony Taylor. I mean, the amount of times that Everton players should have been sent off in that game and they weren't was just getting ridiculous by the end of the game. So I think, to be honest, Jurgen Klopp should just do what Brendan Rodgers did with Lee Mason and just say, no, you're not refereeing our games because you're shit. Because let's be honest, he's shit. So get rid of Anthony Taylor. Don't let him referee any more Liverpool games. Stop him costing us points and getting our players injured, and we'll be fine for the rest of the season. And finally, looking forward, what does this mean for Liverpool's season? Well, we've certainly staked our claim for the top 4 now. And while if Man U do win all their games in hand, they're playing against West Brom. As I record this, last time I checked it was 0-0, so hopefully it stays like that, or West Brom can nick a goal. Even though if they win all those games they will overtake us, I can't really see them doing it. And considering they've got games coming up like the Manchester derby and everything, they've got top 6 games that we haven't got coming up. I'm fairly confident that Liverpool can secure the top 4 at this stage in the season, provided we keep up this standard of performances and keep picking up 3 points against all the other teams that we've got to face. That's all for today's video. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you lot in a couple of days for when we build up to the game against Bournemouth on Wednesday. Until then, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're new around here. Follow at LFC Focus TV on Twitter and like the video if you enjoyed it. Bye for now.